What is going on, YouTube? It's Tyler from Mission VR, where it's my mission to bring you guys good quality VR content. So today's video is a game review for a new indie VR game that came out that is actually kind of really fun and something we've all been looking forward to in VR, and they did it really good. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised with an indie VR game of late, which, you know, we don't get a ton of that are any good anymore. So this is Superfly VR. You ever wanted to be a superhero and just go swinging around the city with webs? Well, everybody's wanted to do that. Everybody's a Spider-Man fan of some sort. Oh, if you're not a Spider-Man fan, maybe Iron Man. You want to fly around with jets? Oh, Superman maybe? I don't know. Take your pick. We haven't been able to really do that in VR with the exception of some really older titles that just really don't look great in virtual reality, and this game solves that problem for you in a lot of ways, and we're going to be going ahead and taking a look at what is in this game today and whether or not it's maybe worth you picking up. So with that being said, make sure you guys do drop a like and subscribe to my channel. Guys, I'm going to be having a pretty big new sponsor soon. I'm really excited about it. I can't talk about it yet, but stay tuned. I am definitely really excited about this opportunity, and I hope you guys will be too. So make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and hop on into our content section. Alright guys, so first up, I'd like to start with content. What are you actually getting in this game? Now, listen, on the surface, there is really not really, like, they call it a story mode. There's really no story mode here in the game. This is more of an open world sandbox to some extent, and, you know, I'll be nitpicky and say that it's barely that. It's more or less just a city with some robots to fight, and you get to fly around as a superhero. Now, for $14.99, that may or may not be a little steep depending on what kind of player you are. If you've always somebody who's dreamt about flying around and just being a superhero and just, you know, fighting random robots and stuff, I think you're going to be able to get your money's worth out of this game. You know, there's probably realistically, you know, I want to say 6 hours of, you know, true fun to be had in this game. You know, if not, you're just really coming back to this over and over again just to get that experience of flying around like a superhero around a city and swinging between buildings and flying between buildings, and it's just a cool experience. It really is. You know, and I don't know what the future plans for this game are, if there are any at all, but it is definitely a nice little indie VR game, and I think for 15 bucks it could be worth it. It was a lot of fun to just feel like Iron Man for a minute and, you know, fly around the city and fly out of the, you know, the opening area, and it was cool. I definitely enjoyed it. Other things with content wise, there is actually a decent progression system in this game, which is surprising. Now, unfortunately, there's really no story to go along with it, but if you go into like just free play, which they offer, you can just upgrade your powers right away, and some of the upgraded power abilities are actually pretty awesome, and I thought that it really enhanced the experience because there's a total of 8 powers in the game right now, so you get basically 8 different, you know, superhero powers that you're probably all very familiar with, right? But some of them kind of sucked, and I was like, oh, these are kind of lame, and I really only liked playing with like 2 or 3 of them, and then I upgraded the powers, and then I actually liked playing with like 4 or 5 of them, and then it changed everything for me, and then you could start mix and matching your powers so that if you want to be super speed and also have a, you know, 2 giant swords coming out of your side, which I actually really liked that combo. I thought that was fun. It kind of, you know, gave me more of like an anime hero vibe. Definitely like that. Or if you want to fly around like Superman with, you know, 1 arm and then, you know, shoot fireballs with the other arm, or, you know, one of the other really cool abilities in this game was the ice surfer ability, which is, you know, similar to the Incredibles. Whenever he's surfing on the ice, you can do that, and it actually feels really smooth. And then, you know, the upgraded version is the rock slide, basically, where you're sliding around on rocks. And I actually really enjoyed this. I thought this was cool, and it created a nice combo of powers, and it was a very smooth experience when I was doing it. It definitely felt like I was riding the ice around the city, and I was, you know, looping and bending around buildings, and it was just an overall very smooth experience. And I think that the movement in this game is actually very smooth, which I was pleasantly surprised with, because indie VR games sometimes can have janky mechanics and janky movement. In a game like this, you definitely don't want any janky movement and mechanics. That is for sure, for certain. But as far as content goes in the game, there's not like a ton of content in the game, but there's enough there that I think you can justify the $15 price tag, and it is fun to fly around the city and be a superhero. It's something that I think, you know, is worth picking up, because you're gonna end up, you know, coming back to this game, you know, that night where you just feel like, you know, I feel like tonight I just want to be a superhero, and we really don't have any of that in VR. So definitely a cool experience. I think content wise it's doing all right. And let's go ahead and hop on into our graphics and sound.
I can fly! Ouch.
Oh, the humanity. Making...
So you're the little bug in the doctor's ointment. I've been wanting to meet you for some time now, to find out just how delicious you are. Let's begin, shall we?
I'm clown. Prepare to be publicly humiliated. That spandex makes you unattractive. Chase mode activate. Firing lasers.
Okay, so for our overall sound design of this game, I thought that the opening tutorial mission kinda, voiced decent. It was kind of campy, a little superhero-like. I liked it. It did the job all right. The powers, they sound fine. There's not really any like major crazy sound effects or anything like that in the game. And as far as the game sounds go in general, there's really no highlights, but there's also no lowlights. It's pretty actually I shouldn't say that. There is one highlight and we'll talk about it in a second, but there's nothing really outstanding about this game's sound design other than the voice acting of the robots, which I found to be actually hilarious in the game. And there's plenty of times where they call you a clown and they call you all kinds of other stuff, and it was just funny and it just fits the overall campy superhero vibe. So that was one of the highlights for the sound design for me. Soundtrack, it's pretty much the same song that plays the entire time. I would definitely maybe sub this out if you're going for more of like a little serious vibe. But if you're just looking to casually hang out, this is a good soundtrack, and I think the overall sound design gets the job done in the game. It definitely doesn't take away from immersion, which is really important in a VR game. So I thought the sound was a 6-7 out of 10. Not nothing crazy, but there was some. The one highlight is definitely the voiceovers for the robots. I thought was pretty funny. Okay, so as far as graphics go in this game, definitely nothing crazy to look at here. This game's not going to blow you away graphically. But it does have the cartoony kind of superhero-y graphical vibe that I guess I would go with this game, and I do actually like it. I think it looks good. Definitely arcadey, but nothing to complain about there. Your hands look pretty good in the game. The city environment definitely feels like a big city environment. I think one of the issues I had graphically was there was a lot of render stuttering. I don't want to call it screen door effect because it wasn't that. It was more of like if you start looking around at the buildings are like waving in quality, and I don't know the technical term of what that actually is, but there's definitely a lot of that glitchiness on the buildings for sure. And you can even see it in the clips if you really watch, and you watch as I'm moving around, you can see the buildings stuttering and popping in and out. That was really the only thing graphically that I saw that really I had an issue with. Other than that, I mean, the graphics are what they are. They're arcadey, they get the job done, they definitely don't take you out of immersion, and I think it fits the overall theme of the game. Okay, so when it comes to my verdict for Superfly, this is a game for $15 that you can hop into and really feel like one of your favorite childhood superheroes. And, there's not a ton of enemies in this game, which is what it is, but again, we're talking about $15 here for you to fly around and probably get a good 3 or 4 hours out of this experience. And then if you never touch it again, I mean, hell, think about how many movies you go and see, for 2 hours and you spend $20 on. And that's kind of what, I feel like this game is. And it's also something that you can come back to this game later on, as it's kind of more of a sandbox thing. And I do think you'll be able to get a little bit of time out of this one, especially if you like the idea of being a superhero, which everybody has been waiting for something like that in VR. So definitely a cool little VR experience. I think that this one is a fun little gem. One of the more enjoyable indie VR games I've played in a little while. I definitely enjoyed my playtime on this one, and I think that you guys will too. So that is going to be my verdict for Superfly. As far as bugs go, I really didn't run into too many bugs in this game, like I said, other than the graphical glitches and stuff. I thought it ran pretty smooth for what it did. I enjoyed the fact that a lot of the superpower animations, like when you create the ice wall and you're riding on the ice wall, it pretty much stays there for a long time. Like you look back and you can see it looks like a giant slide coming out of the city, and it's just a cool experience. So overall, I think this game's pretty good, and I think you guys will enjoy it if you go ahead and pick it up. Well guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys found this review helpful, and maybe you can go and be a superhero in VR. It's a pretty cool experience, and I think you guys won't regret it. Make sure you guys do drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned because we have a new sponsor that will be sponsoring us, and it's a big one pretty soon, so stay tuned for that, and you guys will be getting 20% off of an item that is actually pretty freaking awesome. So, that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.